Hey, what's up? I'm KBHD here. So, we do have some new Samsung phones for early in the year, as we usually expect them. This time it's S23, S23 Plus, and S23 Ultra. Spoiler alert, I've played with them for like 2 hours. They are very similar to last year's phones, which is great. Those were rock solid. But that also means that...
That's balling. How can you have a phone for last year, this year, and you're gonna pay more money? Like, that's crazy.
I can probably make this like the shortest MKBHD video of the past year, so I'm going to try. Let's get through it. Okay, so the lineup is S23, S23 Plus, and S23 Ultra, but there are the same 4 colors across the entire lineup, so Phantom Black.
That's nice, man. Like, you have all the phones from the, like, expensive, cheap, and extra expensive in all the same colors. That's good. Not bad.
Green, lavender, and cream. All pretty tame looking, I think. And as expected, the S23 and S23 Plus are basically identical other than their size, which means you can either get the smaller one with this...
But why those cameras looks like an iPhones? It's just been put on different ways, man. Like, these people need to stop doing that, man. But if you guys enjoy it, who am I? I wasn't able to afford to buy one. Just saying.
6.1-inch 1080p OLED and a 3900 mAh battery, or the bigger one with the 6.6-inch 1080p OLED and a 4700 mAh battery. Also, the bigger one apparently has slightly faster wired charging, 45 watts peak versus 25, and a higher base storage. There's 128 on the small one, but 256 gigs starting on the Plus. That's it. So aside from that, you're looking at the same general shape and design as last year. Flat display, you know, the ports and the speakers at the bottom, the button locations look basically the same, still got wireless charging, still got IP ratings. Really the only thing that's updated here from the S22s are the chip and the cameras. So the new chips are the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. And if you pay attention to the presentation, Samsung's doing this thing where they're calling it like Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, as if it's sort of a customized chip. But when I asked Samsung about this, it seems like basically they're doing a slightly higher max clock speed. Maybe it's just binning for all we know. So I don't expect it to be a dramatic difference versus other phones that just have Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, but you know, that's something we'll test. We'll see in the full review. But I mean, you know, the phones feel fast, and Samsung phones always feel this fast when they're brand new, so I'm not super worried. But the other new thing that I mentioned is the cameras. So these new camera systems are refreshed across the board. New sensors, new image processing, new AI remastering of photos. So it's a 50 megapixel main camera paired with a 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 3...
Those cameras looks like iPhone, man. Like, trust me. They look like iPhone.
3x telephoto. Playing with it briefly, you know, the images I took, I thought actually looked really good. It's obviously a super brightly lit setup room, so I will say they also look very HDR-y and, dare I say, a bit pixely in this situation. But that tracks with Samsung's claims of a much better improved dynamic range. I'm just very curious to get these out into the real world and see how it stacks up. So definitely get subscribed to see the review when that comes out, and I can actually...
We already subscriber, man. We don't need to subscribe anything,
man.
Of
a bit of shutter
just
lag.
post the
exactly
damn video. Let's watch
phones,
it.
But sometimes you take a photo of something fast moving and you think you got it, but then it turns out the image was captured slightly later than when your finger hit the shutter. So something to keep an eye on, just because if I notice it in this perfect lighting, it's probably going to strike again. But there is also a new selfie camera, 12 megapixels, just a lot of new imaging stuff here. So that's mainly what's new with this incremental S23 update. So S23 starts at $799 and S23 Plus starts at $999. If you're...
That's a whole lot of money, man. That's all the money I make a whole year, man. Ooh la la. Huh. I can't afford one, man. I think I'm probably gonna have it after 10 years. In 10 years time, I can able to use a Samsung S23. Not bad. It's alright.
Really trying to pay $200 more for the bigger phone. But there's also the $1199 S23 Ultra. Again, a pretty similar design to last year, but as you may have noticed, there's really two
Why don't it look like a Note 9 or Note 8, something like that? Is it only me I'm tripping? Maybe I smoke something, but it looks familiar, man.
Noticeable changes for those of us who have touched and held last year's phone. One, The camera bumps are all just a little bit bigger with these new pronounced rings around them.
Yeah,
The
you
new
can
cameras
see
in a
those.
second.
Those
And
are look
two, when
huge,
you're holding it in
man.
the hand, they've changed the shape of the sides to be much more flat. So the whole phone is just much more boxy, and I like it. I really like it. Samsung says this was a reshaped curve at the edges to better optimize for the S Pen that is still here. I assumed this would mean
Oh, it even got the ice pen, man. That's
maybe they can
fantastic.
compress the dimensions and make a slightly smaller phone. But the battery size is still the huge 5,000 milliamp hours from last year, and the phone is still huge. So, I mean, it feels like it's mostly for aesthetics and feel in the hand and just have something different from last year. But I actually really like it. I also did notice, interestingly, some of these phones I was recording with were flickering more than usual, but just on camera. Like, I'm not aware of any big differences in the adaptive refresh rates. These are still LTPO displays that go from 1 to 120 hertz. And I played with a few settings when I noticed it flickering, but I couldn't really figure it out. Not that it's a big deal. It didn't flicker to my eyes. And these are great looking screens with a new peak brightness of 1,750 nits across the board, which is excellent, but that's just something different that I noticed to keep my eye on. Really though, the cameras are the biggest thing in the Ultra refresh as well. Again, new...
Those cameras look so good. Those cameras is better be good. If it's not good, yeah, we take it back to Samsung. I'm not gonna take it back because I can't afford one.
Sensors across the board, headlined by a 200 megapixel main camera. There's
200 megapixel. Is it not like how we see things? As humans, how many pixels do we have in our eyes? Is it 200 or 500? I don't know shit, man. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
also the 12 megapixel ultra wide and a pair of telephoto cameras, the 3x and the 10x. There's going to be a bunch of new camera stuff to test in here, from the improved optical image stabilization across the board to the better low light performance, maybe with 16 pixels binning into one and kicking out a 12 megapixel photo.
That's
to
too much
Galaxy
zooming.
camera feature integration in certain apps like Instagram, and also the 200 megapixel mode. I want to see how good the actual 200 megapixel files really are. Not that I print out photos and set them on canvas or anything, but you could if you wanted to. But I think it's clear the bottom line is the camera system is one of the biggest differentiators between the Ultra and the rest of the lineup. Aside from that, it's going to be a pretty familiar phone to the one that I gave the best big smartphone award last year. It's still a 6.8-inch edge.
Looks nice with a lemon, man. I think when they're selling it, they must give you with a lemon in the hand. Like, man, that thing there over there looks so beautiful. And this guy knows what is he doing, man.
To edge 1440p OLED display. There's still the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy. You can get up to a terabyte of storage, still the IP rating. We already know there will be no chargers in any of the boxes, so this video sponsor Anker's Ace charger is definitely the move here. This 313 charger is way smaller than Samsung's official one, thanks to gallium nitride, aka GaN technology, plus it folds up. But it'll still guarantee the 45 watts of peak charging power that the Ultra supports with Super Fast Charging 2.0, so it fully charges in about an hour, and it does it safely with things like current regulation, over temperature protection, and more. Or there's their 312 charger, which is a good pair to match with the 25 watt peak charging of the S23, and still smaller and more efficient than Samsung's. So if you're looking for a powerful charger for S23, S23 Plus, or S23 Ultra, this Anker Ace charger is the move, and I'm gonna link it below.
That was nice. I enjoy his video, man. But bad thing, I can't buy any phone at the moment. The price is too high. Like high. Can't afford it. But thank you for your nice touch and your voice, blah blah, whatever you said, we hear you, man. Until the next one. And you guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, man. Subscribe and like and share. Be nice, man.